So how to make a paper plane? So we'll start with a plane, obviously. So I delete this cube, create a plane, and I'll start with something looking more or less like a A4 paper. So I'll change the SX scale that way. And I'll edit the object. So I already know that I want some division here, probably like that, and some on the side to make a very simple paper plane. So I'll start deselecting everything, adding a loop, Control R, and I'll add 2 more loops. I'll do it again, Control R, and 2 more loops, so 1 in the center and 2 on the side. Right click to keep it in the center, and I'll scale in Y just to keep the one in the center and having the other one a bit slightly on the side. Okay, now I want to fold the paper along one edge like that, so I will use the knife and add it that way, but since I want a perfect square so it will fold properly, I will just add a cube temporarily just as a reference. So I have a cube here, I'll press Z to go in a wireframe mode, and I will go in top view so I can move the cube properly, adjust it exactly as I want, scale it down, move it. So I'll start like that, and now I'll still scale down and try to have something matching properly. Scale down a little bit more and down, still a bit more. Okay, I guess it's not bad now. Seems to be working well. Good. So now all I have to do is use my knife with I dissect everything. So first I will sand the cube down so it won't be cut with a knife. So I'll select one element of the cube, press L to select the full mesh, G, Z, and I'll sand it down. Like that. Now they are very separated, but in top view it's not a problem because it's in orthographic view, so they look exactly the same. I deselect everything and I use K for a knife, and with the help of the cube I can draw properly here and there. I could have duplicated my cube to adjust this one too, but it should be fine that way. Okay, so I check now it's properly cut, and I don't need the cube anymore. So again, I select one section, L, X, and vertices. I go back in the plane mode. So now I can fold here, I can fold that, and I will have few edges to add, but I can start folding the paper. So how to fold this section along this axis. You will have first to select the edges you want to fold. So I go in Control Edge mode, select all the edges I want to fold, like that. And I have to be sure that the last edge selected is this one, because it will be my reference. This is the active edge. In case I finish here, for example, it's not a problem. I press Shift, right click to deselect it, and click again for it to be the last one selected. And I will tell Blender I don't want this axis, which is, I don't want this pivot, which is the center of the selection. Here, as you can see, center for, which is the median point here. But instead I want the active element, which is a white one here, that way. So now this is my new pivot point. The rotation will pivot around this edge. But if I press rotate, no axis will work. See, X, Y, or Z, they won't work at all, because the direction of X, Y, and Z is not parallel to this edge. This is the direction, the global direction, which is the world system. If I change it to local, I have the same problem, because my paper is aligned with the world, so it has the same axis. What I need to use is the normal system. So now it will align with the normal of this edge. So if I do a rotation along the Y axis, so rotate Y, still not working because 1Y is for global, 2Y is now the local one when I have a local coordinate selected, or the normal one when normal is selected. So this is the right way of doing it. It's working fine. I'll do exactly the same thing on the other side. So I select all the edges I want to fold, and the last one is the active one, and again rotate Y, Y, and start the rotation like so. Okay, I check from every angle if it's working well. Good. Now I'm going to fold the full object along this edge. So I'll use A to deselect everything, B for box selection to select all the edges I will need to fold. But here I have to be very careful because I selected more than necessary. You see, this one should not be selected, so I shift and right click on it, and same for this one. Okay, it's important to check from every angle before doing such operation, otherwise everything can go wrong very easily. Good. The last thing I want is to have this edge active, so I deselect it and reselect it. Now this is the correct axis, and I will rotate Y, Y, and everything is going perfectly fine. I will change the angle. I can give more rotation, so R, Y, Y, and carry on with rotation like that. Good. It's looking good so far. The last folding I want is this wing here. So I will fold all this section along this edge, but here I have to be careful. You see one edge is missing. This face won't fold because there is no edge in the middle. So I will add it manually with the knife. So K, and I'm very careful to cut it here till this edge. It has to be green. Huh? If you do that, it's not working. It will cut more than expected. So be careful to not go on the other one neither. So something like that. I press return, and since I'm doing that, I'll do it also on the other side. So I'll deselect everything, K here, and return. If I want to be more accurate, like this one is not really straight, I can use an orthographic view again. For now, what I'll do, I'll just move the vertex, this one, that way, so the way down. So I have to change the mode. You see normal here is not working for this vertex. So I'll use the local mode and send it down a little bit. Okay. If I'm not sure this is the right way, I just cancel and redo it from a better view. Something like that, for example. That way I can align with this one easier. K. And like that. Good. Now it's very easy to fold it along this axis. I just have to select all the edges. Be careful, one can be hidden. No, it seems to be fine. This is the last one. I'll go back in normal mode and I will rotate along the y-axis. R, Y, Y, and it's perfectly fine. I can adjust it later, but it seems to be good. I'll do the same with the other wing. So select all these edges and rotate Y, Y like so. And now I have a nice paper plane. I can exit the edit mode with tab and go back in global mode, rotate X, so it will be back on a horizontal position. Rotate X again and I'll adjust that. I can just now render it with cycles for a good rendering that I will publish on the blog.